Good morning, everybody, and welcome to P&M in the AM. No Al, no Pat. It is just yours truly. That's right, Mike Lark, right here with you guys here on It's a Wrap Sports. Oh boy, do we have an action-packed show for you. I do have somebody coming on later on, so I will not be flying solo today as we get ready for a football-free Sunday. That's right, Eagle fans. You can sit back, you can relax, you can watch TV today with no worries because the Eagles cannot lose. They can't win, but they cannot lose. We will get to the Birds a little bit later on. We're going to start off with first things first. Let's give a little congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers as they come back and beat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4 last night to win their second back-to-back World Series championships. This was a really entertaining series. It really was. I didn't see much of it, but from what I did see of it, it was very entertaining. I thought Toronto had it last night. I really did. Our boy Jeff Hoffman, man, how could you say you were part of a Phillies bullpen without saying you were part of a Phillies bullpen, huh? I feel for him, but it is what it is. We're definitely going to be touching base on that as far as the World Series with Yamamoto being the MVP. I know there's some people that are happy about that. Kind of seen some people last night kind of going crazy about, him being World Series MVP. And now the offseason begins, right? Where will Kyle Schwarber end up? Ranger Suarez kind of said his goodbyes to the Phillies and our fans. Yesterday, he kind of put out a nice post. I think he knows the writing's on the wall. I don't think he's going to be back in a Phillies uniform, especially not with Painter getting ready to come up. They're going to give him every opportunity for this kid to succeed. So, free agency starting to loom, and the Phillies got a couple question marks there. If you're taking a look at it, how much and how long do they sign JT Realmuto for? If they do lose Kyle Schwarber, do they go after Pete Alonso? This is just something for me. To be honest with you, I think Schwarber's going to get paid way too much for the Phillies to try to re-sign him. And, for me, honestly, at least with, Alonso, if you go out and get him, it's protection for Harper at the plate. Alonso can hit the long ball. Can you imagine Pete Alonso playing at Citizens Bank Park? I mean, he hit 35, 36 bombs this year at Citi Field. Can you imagine how many he'll hit there? He's not a bad first baseman. You can bring him in and like I said, he provides power. He provides protection for Harper. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm waiting to see how this Phillies lineup's going to take shape. Early reports, Harrison Bader looks like he might be going to the Angels. I was kind of hoping to hold on to him. But, yeah, it looks like he's heading to the Angels. I saw a report out there during this past week that it could very well end up him going to the Angels. So I don't know that to be fact. It's just rumored reports. So be prepared, man, because I think starting tomorrow, you're going to start seeing a lot of people. I think free agency is going to get done early. It's going to get done quick this year. I don't think people are going to be waiting around as maybe like years past. So get a real good look at it. Plus some notable names, too, here on the trade market as well. Tyler Skubal from Detroit. Apparently they're looking to deal him and probably get a king's ransom back for him. A lot of young players, a lot of older players too. Nolan Arenado, rumored to be getting maybe traded to the Mets. That's all we need is that guy in our division, right? So I'm waiting to see now what really goes on in MLB free agency as it approaches now because the World Series is now over with. I think they have to wait a week, right? I believe. I mean, when my guest comes on, um, at 9:15, we'll ask that person uh, about free agency. But needless to say, congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are back-to-back world champions. Valiant effort by the Toronto Blue Jays, but if you really kind of look at it, did it kind of feel like you were watching the 2023 Phillies? It kind of looked like that to me, man. They came home only needing to win one, and they lost both games at home. And you know, a lot of people thought Toronto was the better team in this series, but cream rises to the top. Speaking of cream rising to the top, oh man, Flyers last night kind of got introduced to one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference as the Toronto Maple Leafs came to town last night. Just beat the Flyers, beat them up pretty good last night. As the Leafs won 5-2. Leafs record after last night became 6-5-1. Flyers are at 6-4-1. So there it is. If you're looking at it, big night for John Tavares last night. 4 points, 2 assists. I'm sorry, 2 points. 2 assists, 4 shots on goal. Nicholas Robertson also had 2 points last night. But then you're looking, your 3 goal scorers were Robertson, Matthews, who kills the Flyers. I don't know why. It's Robertson, Matthews, Jarnock, Cohen, and Jake McCabe. So there are your goal scorers from for last night for the Flyers. It was real simple. Your 2 goal scorers was Christian Dvorak and Tyson Forrester, getting helpers from Mitch Grubelin and Konechny and Zegras. So that's pretty much. I mean, if you're looking at that, and listen, guys, I'm looking at it like this as far as the Flyers go, with the way their schedule was set up to start the season, and you're looking at the teams that they had to play, for you to sit there and say that they've even got a winning record in the month of October would be something, considering the first 8 or 9 games they played. Let me take a look at the schedule. Yeah, I mean, they started off. They played literally first 5 games: Panthers twice, Hurricanes, Jets, and Wild, and literally lost one. They were 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3. I mean, if you look at their, you look at their scheduling. I mean, the Islanders were kind of eh. I mean, they played 11 games, and they're 6-4-1, with the one overtime loss being to Carolina, which, by the way, they shouldn't have lost that game. They should have won that game. But, hey, they get a chance to rebound tonight as they host those Calgary Flames. So that should be something really, really, really cool to see. And, that's this. Oh, where's that? There it is. As you can see, as the Mike and Maddie B weekend continues on this weekend, I will be taking you guys clearly as soon as the final whistle hits, doing the review of this game. And for next week, here we go. Again, me and Maddie B will be covering it. I will have Flyers and Preds again, this time from Nashville, as Maddie will have Tuesday when the Flyers take a road trip up to Montreal on a brief little 2-game stretch. And then Saturday afternoon, the Flyers host the one and only Ottawa Senators. So, well, guys, listen, like I said, it's been a Mike and Maddie weekend here on It's a Wrap Sports. So, I mean, what better way? And before we get in to start talking about the Eagles and what they've done, and some of the games coming up this weekend, which I wanted to say, let's bring on the power of positivity here at It's a Wrap Sports, the one and only Matty B.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
This is what 9 o'clock looks like?
Yeah.
Good to be here, Mike. What's going on?
Man, listen, Eagles made a move yesterday. Kind of wanted to get your reaction on that. of what when I saw it, I did a double take. Actually, I was just like, whoa. A lot of I'm kind of iffy about it because what I'll tell you, I'm going to get your opinion on it. So, what do you think about the trade for Jair Alexander?
If it was 2022, I'd be all on board. But this is not your dad's Jair Alexander anymore. I mean, he been a healthy scratch 5 times this season. This is another depth move. This is another attempt to try to fix the problem in a secondary that obviously was a problem that was not addressed adequately in the offseason and has, I guess the Eagles look at the secondary as the main problem with that defense. And, with the additional Michael Carter and now Alexander, obviously they're putting all their eggs in the secondary basket. It cost yet another draft pick, down to 9 now for 2026. We started at 13, and now we're down to 9. Low risk move, yes, but is this the move that's going to put the Eagles over the top? And is this the Eagles? It's the move because the season really starts Monday night against Green Bay. That's when really the season begins. And we're rolling with the edge the way it is, or is it the Myles Garrett thing still in play? I mean,
yeah. I want your opinion on that too. Are you giving up 3 number ones for Myles Garrett?
I addressed this on my show earlier in the week, and so I'm a big fan of the fact that I thought the Brandon Graham signing was a desperate move by Howie Roseman. It's desperation. It's a move of desperation. It's not work. Whatever his plan was in the offseason, it hasn't worked. And he relied on some draft picks to step up. They necessarily have not done that. Some injury issues as well. You can't really help that. If you go ahead and mortgage three first-round picks, you're obviously setting yourself adrift into the sea and say, okay, this is it. This is what we're going to do. Make them dominant for at least 3 years, and then after that, things might fall apart. But I want a dynasty. I want the Eagles to win another Super Bowl, and I want the dawn of the Eagle dynasty to occur. I mean, I don't know. If they make that move, they're a better option to win the Super Bowl without them. So it's a tough decision.
Man, that's crazy. I literally I didn't even get notification that any of these were even up, man. I just happened to hit comments, and all these comments were in there already.
Well, it should be like a little number next to the comment window. It wasn't there?
It wasn't there. That's why I said, I was like, wait a minute, where did all these comments come from?
Is Pat producing for you this morning? Is that what's going on?
Probably. All right, let me get through some of these. Al reposted it this morning. All right. Joe, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into Penn State in a little bit. I'm just going to kind of do that. All right. And this is what Noom said. He goes, Alexander raises the floor, not the ceiling. I agree. I think he can come in and help. I think it's kind of a two thing. Do I think maybe he might have lost a step with the injury, Matt? Yeah, I do. But do I think he's still a serviceable corner and better than what the Eagles have? Yes. Plus I also think too, another stuff that was coming out about why they traded him to the Eagles is that he wasn't a good fit in their defensive scheme. Now, here's the thing. There was rumblings about that when they signed him over the summer.
Yeah.
Why would you sign Jair Alexander if you're going to have him do this or X, Y, and Z? And I kind of, scratched my head at that signing too because of the corners that they had there that they went out and they spent a lot of money on. So for them, I thought it was just them maybe trying to, the rich get richer type deal.
Right.
But I think it's been more of that, the way from what I heard. It's been more of he's not a good fit in the defensive scheme they're trying to run now than when it was when they signed him. So that's why they were looking to offload him. Like, you got to remember, he's been a healthy scratch. And, of course, all the other NFC East fans are like, oh, they're showing pictures of their guy beating Jair Alexander for a touchdown. And they're like, oh, this is who the Eagles – and I'm like, dude, give me a break. Like,
and that's what I unfortunately we have to wait another week to see this. But is he the new CB2? I mean, are DeJohn's not coming out wide now? Or we scrap that? Because obviously with the addition of Michael Carter, it kind of said that Cooper DeJean was coming out wide because Carter's a slot guy. But now with Alexander, is he the new CB too, or is he that rotational guy? I mean, how are they going to incorporate him? And is Cooper DeJean still coming outside wide to play CB too?
I think Coop will be outside for this game coming up. I don't think maybe going forward. I think that's why they went out and, like you said, they got Michael Carter so they can slot him in to the slot and move Coop out. I don't think Zaire Alexander is going to get much playing time in this game. So I'm waiting to see what happens. But the one name I keep hearing attached with the Eagles, and I think they can get him for relatively a good price, is was it Jaden Phillips out of Miami? It's either him or Chubb. I think the Eagles are going to get Bradley Chubb. I think they're going to get one of the two to also come in and help out with this rotation. I'm not giving up 3 number ones for Myles Garrett. I like Myles Garrett. I think he's the best. I think he's the best defensive end in the game, but he's also 29 years old. I'm not going to give up 3 number ones for a 29-year-old.
Yeah, but you're going for one of the elite players in this league, and the fact that he is older, yeah, he's in his prime, but the Eagles would get the rest of the best of him for the life of the contract that he has, and it would make the Eagles a better team. But it goes down to about mortgaging the immediate future about it. I mean, are you prepared to say, hey, we're all in on a dynasty, which that's what I want him to do, but smartly, I guess. But, again, 13 draft picks we started out this season with. We're down to 9. And if you
I hope they go down. I hope they go down to 6.
No, see, that's I disagree with that mentality as well, because
for 1 year you can.
Yeah, but we're talking. All right, so we're 1 year. So do you think AJ Brown is an Eagle next year?
No, I think he's going in the offseason.
Okay, so do you think when are they going to draft Lane Johnson's replacement? When are they going to draft Dallas Goedert's replacement? I mean, there's some needs on this team offensively that need to be addressed, and with 6 draft picks, I don't know if you can adequately do that. So you got to be careful when you do that stuff, messing with your draft picks.
True. But a tight end you can sign, and I'm not saying that to be a wise ass or anything like that, but you can go out and sign a tight end, and I don't mean I mean a good tight end. There's going to be some that are available. You have Mike Mayer for Las Vegas. I think you could probably get him, for one of those, was it the unconditional picks that you always get, like when a guy leaves, the compensatory pick? You could probably get him for one of those, like maybe even a 5th round pick. You could trade that to Vegas. You bring Mayer in, now you got an established tight end who can play and can catch. He's basically the same as Dallas Goedert, except he doesn't have a good quarterback throwing to him, and he's got Brock Bowers on the other side. They want tight end. So,
and the Eagles don't necessarily incorporate a tight end as a primary focus of their offense. It's not. So you probably could get away with something like that. You don't necessarily have to continue to build for the future of the position because they don't really use it that way.
But I do agree with you with the whole Lane Johnson. But I actually think we have his replacement on the roster right now, going forward, which is Fred Johnson. Listen. He's not. Nobody's listening. This is what I'm going to say. Hear me out. What I'm saying is, he can step in. If Lane decided to call it a career, we wouldn't be bad off with Fred over there. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to have the type of career Lane had.
Right.
But then again, there ain't too many other tackles in the league that's going to have the careir Lane had.
You're gonna take a step down no matter who you put out there. It doesn't really matter because you've been so like spoiled over the past decade and a half about how Lane has played. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? And then you can start kind of building, your next tackles, and going around. I think Howie's not done. I just hope he doesn't make a trade for the sake of making a trade. That's the only thing that kills me with him sometimes. And he does do that. He does it just to make a trade. Like the worst one was getting Robert Quinn. Remember we went out and got Robert Quinn, and I looked and I killed. Pat went crazy with it. He was all homered up, and I said, dude, no. I said, this was a bad move. I said, this guy's toast. And he was. I think he played, like 3 games for the Eagles? That was it.
I mean, what have been the best in-season trades the Eagles have made over the last few years? It was Jay Ajayi and Golden Tate, probably the only 2 that kind of spring to mind that worked out at all. In-season trades,
Yeah, I wish they would have kept Golden Tate, but
yeah,
I don't. Did you see his? He was on with somebody, And then like I heard why he left and like went to the Giants. Like he left because he said the whole locker room was like divided. It
Yeah.
was Carson had his little clique. He said, and the rest of the locker room was for Foles. And you know, he said nobody liked Carson and that nobody wanted to play with him. I was like, Jesus God, man.
It's true.
Oh man, let's see. Get some of this one. Last time we gave up 3 firsts was for Ron Soul. No
No,
thanks.
Ron Solt, was he an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Colts. Did they get him from the Colts?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that trade.
Man, I'll give you one guy I met when I was younger. You remember Ron Heller, old tackle for the Eagles? Yeah,
73.
Yeah, I met him walking. He was walking out of the vet. I was going down to put a deposit down on my Phillies season tickets, and he was walking out of the vet.
Yeah, I know Ron Heller.
Yeah.
I got drunk with Byron Evans in a luxury suite at a Flyers game.
Dude, that's my favorite Eagle of all time. Favorite Eagle. Him and Joyner were my favorite guys. Maddie, today also, I'm going to kind of bring up, like I said, we're going to dive more into the Birds. I want to get your thoughts on the Flyers so far, like the little sample size you've seen after, what's it now, 11 games. Really, Vladar, really, last night was kind of his first kind of like bad night. So what's your take about the Flyers? Really kind of first 11 games in.
All right, so I guess you got to also put the context of year 3 of a rebuild into play here, because you got to every time you talk about the Flyers, you got to look contextually that way. I do like some of the subtle changes I've seen from Rick Tocchet, coaching wise. The way the defense is primarily designed to keep players away from the net, and I really love that, because the Flyers just don't have the ability to clear the net, clear that space in front of the net. So they play a defense that tries to keep them away from the net. So that's been an upgrade in terms of coaching philosophy. As far as playing, I had the post game last night, and I really don't like the style of offense this team plays. There is no inside game. There's no down low game. It's all perimeter. And yeah, I mean, there's a certain NHL flavor to that. That's kind of how the game is. But most teams incorporate 2 different styles of play. They can put the puck down low into the net. They can battle for rebounds. They can drive the net, but can also shoot from distance. The Flyers just don't have the ability to play down low, and that's because of the type of players they have. So it's very frustrating for me to watch a complete perimeter style offense, especially with a team that cannot shoot. And the Flyers are terrible when it comes to accuracy on the net. But seeing some players step up, Tyson Forrester, again, he's taking that next step offensively, continues to take that next step. It's been nice to see. They're still averaging less than 3 goals a game. But they're also giving up about, less than 3 goals a game. As far as Vladar goes, I said this from day one. He's a great story. He is not the future starting goaltender of this franchise. There's a reason why they picked him off the free agent scrap heap. There's a reason why Calgary didn't want him. He's a tweener. He's been playing well. But what's been the cheat code on Vladar? I said this like game 2. You put the shot distance and elevation, it confuses the hell out of him. He's terrible with trying to make a save from distance when the puck is elevated. And last night, 19 saves? And he gave up 4 goals? I mean, come on, 19 shots, 4 goals? That was absolutely bad. And how bad has it got to be for Rick Tocchet to pull him early in the 3rd period, knowing you got a back-to-back, and going with Kolbasov, and knowing you're going to turn around and go with Kolbasov again tonight? How bad really was it for Rick Tocchet to make that decision? So, it's been a decent story, 6-4-1. Yeah. Power plays, 7 for 36. I mean, 19%. It's okay. It's nothing to shake a stick at. I don't like the offensive makeup. And again, it's part of the rebuild process. They just don't have the horses here yet. But they're playing the way I expected them to play. And I do like the positive changes that Rick Tocchet has brought, i.e. the defense. So yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. You think they get back on track tonight against the Flames? I mean, Flames are also playing it back-to-back too. So I believe they were in the island yesterday. Yeah, I think they were in the island yesterday, or they were somewhere close by. But I know they got a back-to-back. This is their back-to-back as well. So you expecting a kind of a sloppy game tonight, considering it's a back-to-back?
We'll see. I mean, Well, I don't know. If you got so both teams going, I didn't know the Flames played last night. So you got both teams going back. Calgary's had a horrible start to their season. I mean, the Flyers, it's going to be another good game. I don't expect too many 5-2 games like last night. I mean, the Flyers have done really well to try to keep themselves into games. I mean, it's Calgary. It's early season. These are the types of points you got to steal points here. The Flyers got to get a point out of this game because they weren't able to do anything last night. So I hope they can win. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Kovacic play tonight because he's had a really nice start to his season down in Lehigh, and we're always looking for that next goaltender.
Right.
God knows it's an open audition every night. So let him step up into the breach here. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing him play, and again, in a Rick Tocchet style. Obviously, he didn't do well in a John Tortorella defense, so maybe he does better with the Rick Tocchet defense. So
the carousel continues, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, we got so Urson got hurt after the game the other night. Did he take his shirt off and he pulled a hamstring, whatever. But so he's down, and now you got Kovacic up. Obviously, the next big name we're looking to see is Carson Bjornsson, the kid down there in Lehigh, the second-round pick a few years ago. When's he going to get his shot? I imagine it'll come at some point this season. They'll give him a look at. But, it's year 3 of a rebuild. But, Mike, and we've talked about this. If they don't make the playoffs this year, that's 6 years without making the playoffs. The franchise has never done that. And I don't want to set that record. They got to give the fans something, man. We got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. As Nooms has actually just said, how far is Bjornsson away? You might see him later this year.
Yeah, I mean, he came down. So he finished his season with the Wheat Kings last year. He came into Lehigh Valley, played towards the back end of the season, got some playoff experience within the Calder Cup, made the team obviously out of camp. He's down there now. Was splitting time with Kovacic. In a perfect world, you'd have him at the end of the season into next season. But in this world that we live in with the Flyers, you could see him by Christmas, for God's sakes. Who knows? But he's a nice goalie. He's a bigger guy. This vertical game is a little slower than I want it to be right now, and I think that's what they're working on with him down there. Side to side, his horizontal game. His side to side game is a little slow, but he's a big guy. But he's not like Fedotov big. He's not like Frankenstein on his skates. He can actually move. He's a good young looking goalie, and then of course Igor Zavrajin, who's still in Russia, should be making his way over at the end of this season. So we're getting a nice group of candidates to try out for the goalie spot here coming up soon. Yeah, next. It's terrible.
Hey, just a little quick. I always give an update on how I did in college. From props, locks, and parlays the other night. Your boy is Mr. Mediocrity, dude. That's all I'm going to say. I have been 500 or worse this year in both the NCAA and in the pros. I'm actually 2 games under 500 right now. And yeah, this week
you do a show about picking games. Come on, man. What am I doing here?
My God,
who's running this network?
Yeah, I know. You got to talk to that guy. But listen, I look at it like this, man. I got 2 games right yesterday. I had Ohio State minus 18.5 over Penn State. Like Stevie Wonder could see that coming. My other win was I had Texas Tech and Kansas State going over 52.5. They were my 2 wins. My 2 losses, Western Michigan literally lost that by a half a point. And Georgia, who only won by 4 and was a 7-point favorite. My tie was Vandy. I had Vandy plus 3. They lost by 3, so it was a push. So now my record is 18, 21, and 3 for the for that. And my NFL, I'll do my NFL picks in a minute. But speaking of NFL, what is Matty B going to be watching today? What game interests you?
Nothing. Arizona Fall League. That's what I'll be watching today. So
really? Okay, yeah. So you're going. Well, hey, where do you watch the Arizona Fall League?
MLB.com. Just go ahead and Google Arizona Fall League, and it'll take you right to the place you can go watch it. The MLB website.
This is why Matty knows so much about these upcoming, guys in the pipeline. Oh no, NFL Sunday, my man is sitting home watching Arizona Fall League. Big question. Free agency starts, 7 days, right, from last night?
So sometime tonight, I guess the game ended around midnight. So sometime tonight is when you can start signing your own free agents. And then 5 days from, I guess, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is when free agency and trades open back up.
Okay. All right. Now, I was kind of touching on this earlier. It seemed like Ranger kind of gave his goodbye letter yesterday to the city and the fans. Um, I I don't see where he comes back. I really don't, especially with them got Painter in the pipeline. They want him every opportunity to try to earn a spot on the roster. Um, who else are you, Matt? Who else do you think out of these free agents that you are going to see back? And if you don't get, say you don't get a Schwarber back, who are you trying to bring in and replace the Schwarber?
Oh, wow. So I did this right after the season. I went through Matty B's wish list of kind of, who I'd wanted to be here. Let me see if I can find it and I'll bring it up. I got a pretty graphic and everything, man. So, oh, man, where the hell did I do with it? But as far as Ranger Suarez goes, I think you're right. And it's not, and here's the thing. In a perfect world, I would love to keep Ranger because one of our strengths was the pitching. That's what really carried the Phillies all year was the pitching. And losing Ranger, even though he's kind of in and out, hurt and what have you, he was still a really good asset to have. But I'm just not ready to pay the money that he's going to want and get. Actually, here it is right now. I'm going to pull it up right. Ready, Mike? Here's Matty B's wish list for 2026 right here. I'll take you around the diamond real quick if you like. So I got Pete Alonso playing first. I'm saying goodbye to Bryce Harper, and I'm bringing in, or not Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and I'm bringing in Pete Alonso, and I'm moving Bryce to DH. So Luis Reyes from the free agent from the Padres, who would I want to see playing second base for this team? Say goodbye to Bryce and stop. Trey Turner, let's keep Trey where he's at. I'm turning third base over to Otto Kemp until Aiden Miller's ready later in the season. My outfield is Bader in left, Crawford in center, and I'm going young. Gabriel Raconis Jr. is coming up and playing right field for me. JT Realmuto is my catcher. My pitchers are Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Luzardo, and Painter. But I'm also looking to bring in Patrick Corbin as a free agent. I'd like to sign him as a free agent for some insurance there. Duran, Kaylee Jansen from the Angels is a free agent. Kirkering, Alvarado, Strom, Banks, Taijuan Walker permanently moving to the bullpen for the final year of his 4-year contract. Lou Trevino as well. Sosa, Marsh, and Marchand is my bench. So there you go. And my lineup, Trey Turner will lead off. Arrays will bat second. Harper bat third. Alonso bat fourth. Realmuto fifth. Bader sixth. Raconis seventh. Kemp 8. And Crawford 9. There you go.
Okay. I like that. I really do. I'm not sold on I would not keep Taijuan Walker. I would love to keep Lou Trevino. I don't know if he's going to stay up. I thought he pitched some pretty decent innings for the Phillies, and he's kind of got playoff experience. But yeah, Matty, I have no issue with, especially with the first base, because I just said that before you came on. I said, if you can't re-sign Kyle Schwarber, you go get Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso hit, 38 home runs this year or 36, something like that, at Citi Field. Can you imagine what he's going to hit at Citizens Bank Park? And it provides protection for Harper.
It is a right-handed bat, as you mentioned. I agree. I know this is a sore subject with a lot of people because of the fact that you're talking about Kyle Schwarber, who had he had an awesome season last year. But what has Kyle Schwarber really done other than last year? I mean, last year was a great year, but it was the best year he's had as a Philly. So, you got to move on. You got to get better. You got to figure out how to try to stay more. Watching the World Series, Mike, and I'm sure you watched a little bit of it.
I did.
As they were trading blows back and forth all throughout the series, I'm thinking to myself, would the Phillies really be able to hang with either one of these teams? I mean, what the Phillies just couldn't make plays all season. The whole World Series was these teams making plays back and forth. Phillies couldn't have kept up with that. And that is because the lineup, in my opinion, and again, I know this ain't the same old team. Yeah, the hell it ain't. It is. It was. It has been the same old team. All right. And the fact that they couldn't hang with the Blue Jays or the Dodgers. There's a reason why the Phillies are home, and it's not a Ryan Kirkering throwing the ball the home plate. It's because they're just not. They weren't ready. They're not a championship team. They're a good team. They're a playoff team. But watching the Blue Jays and Dodgers, trade death blows with each other over 7 games, Phillies would have been gone in this series in 4 because they just couldn't have kept up with that pace. We need to change the DNA of this lineup. And my lineup, I think, does. Now, I'm taking an awful risk by turning a lot of positions over to young players. But guess what? It's time. It's time to start seeing what some of these kids can do. We've been hearing about it years. Oh, the farm system's better. We're ready to go. Well, we don't know that until you play them. So we got to turn it over to the young kids. I might be going a little extreme with my lineup by getting too young, but the other way wasn't working. And we don't have money to burn. And we don't have there's not really that big of a right fielder free agency class out there. I'm not breaking the bank for Bregman at third base. I'm not doing that. You got to turn it over to your young kids. Look at the Dodgers. What is one of the things we've also said? Somebody gets hurt, they go down to El Paso and pull some kid up, and he becomes the next Silver Slugger. So what the hell? We need to start doing that, Mike.
Yes, I agree. I always said, like, I don't like the Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers, actually. I can't stand them, the Braves, the Cardinals. But you know what? You're right. If somebody goes down in their lineup, they go right to their minor league, right to AAA and say, okay, come on, you come up. And they come up and they produce. So, yeah, I definitely hear you with that. My thing is with this Phillies team, I like the Ariza thing. I really do, because that kid can hit, and you need that at the top of the lineup. The only issue is I don't think we're going to have Harrison Bader. I think Harrison Bader is going to opt out. I think he's going to test free agency. And I think I just actually saw a report that Anaheim is hot after him. So I would love to keep him.
I saw that too. Maybe I'm also kind of casting my lot to Bader just based off what recency bias because of how well he played down the stretch for us. So I'd be okay with losing Bader, but we got to replace him. And what do you do there? So
I love the kid Rincones coming up from
I
think was it Dombrowski that said he's going to get every opportunity to compete to make the club. So I think it makes perfect sense. If you get a kid like him, you bring him up, you put him in right field. Harper doesn't have to. Harper's best year was the year that he didn't play the field at the plate. Think about that. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he did this, he's that. I'm like, dude, the guy had his best offensive year is when he just batted. That's it. You know what I mean? He had
Yeah, no, you're right. And then when you talk about a rise, this is your number. This is a number 2 hitter to the core right here. Look at his numbers from last year with the Padres: 154 games, 292 batting average, 8 homers, 61 RBIs, 719 OPS, 1 error. He struck out like 3% of the time. This is the contact hitter. This is the perfect guy I need playing second base and batting second in my lineup, man. That guy makes plays both offensively and defensively. And if you take any lessons from the World Series, we don't have playmakers on this team. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Castellanos would have been eyeing up center field since I'm on the 7th inning last night and overswinging for everything, trying to give them that 1 home run. And that's what after watching that game last night, especially that game last night, I don't know how close we are right now. I think we're worlds away from that. And right now. And I'm concerned that if we run this thing back even 80% of it, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I really don't.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I like the idea. I've liked Ariza for a while, but are they going to trade Bryson Stott? That's the only thing.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so again, even though he's going to be there, like, that would take a bold move from Dombrowski and Fold to put him in a package with somebody and trade him away for something. You know what I mean? Another question. Alvarado, do you bring him back or do you let him walk?
Well, I mean, just based on the fact that we need some presence in the back end of the bullpen, yeah, I bring him back. But I am concerned that and I'm not, the whole PED thing, whatever, get over it. He messed up. Yeah, he tried to cheat and he lost. He paid his price. Now, he's been rehabilitated. Let's move on. But I'm concerned now that he's not juicing, is he going to be able to throw anywhere near the way he was throwing? Because it didn't look well coming back from that 80-game suspension. That's a long time to be away and then have to go right back in. But that's my main concern about Alvarado. Has he lost anything because he's not juicing anymore? And if that's the case, I don't know. I mean, I think my bullpen is pretty. I'm bringing in Kaylee Jansen from the Angels. I've coveted him for a few years. I think he's a great complement to Duran and Alvarado in the back end. Take some of the pressure off of Kirkering, who I'm not giving up on. I still think Kirkering has got it. It has got closer stuff, and I still think Kirkering can be a closer at this league. I don't know if he can ever do it with Rob Thompson, but I still think he can do it. And I'm not going to give up on him. So I think our back end of the bullpen, if we can add a Kaylee Jansen or somebody like that, not Jordan Romano, let's not do that,
No.
but add somebody who comes in with a pedigree that can be a setup guy. Pitching is not my concern. It really isn't. I'm asking to add Patrick Corbin and Kaylee Jansen in the offseason. That's all I want to add to the pitching staff.
I was always a big fan of Corbin. I was.
Yeah. Corbin's the insurance for obviously Wheeler, Painter, and Nola. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I bring in Corbin. How hard is it going to be to talk him into, hey, let's chase a ring for a year, man. You can finally have that opportunity. So I think they can get him easy.
Yeah, I would like that, and I'm not against them going out and getting Kenley Jansen either to help out with the back bullpen. Like I looked at your mock there, and I kind of like that lineup. My main thing is though, I look at it like this. My main thing is if you lose Schwarber, like if Schwarber says, "Hey, look, man, they're offering me this, I'm going to have to go there." If that's what he does, then guess what, man? I am going all in on Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
like yeah, you got to go all in on Alonso. And if you bring Alonso here, God, like I said, dude, just think of that lineup. I mean, that lineup's like, without, getting rid of like Castellanos. And I was a Casti guy. He just has not worked out the last 2 years. The last 2 years for me have been very frustrating as a Casti fan to watch this dude. Like, he's got to be in a low pressure area. Like he'll thrive in a place like Cincinnati or
Colorado,
Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh, Miami. Yeah. He'll thrive in a place like that. When it comes to being in the playoffs and happen to thrive here, I just don't see it.
It's funny, the comments he made going out the door when they were hitting the road to LA about the fans affecting the players negatively when they boo. He's never been held accountable for that by the home crowd because they obviously never made it back from LA. And I don't think he's going to be held accountable until he returns to Citizen Bank Park as a member of some other team. There's no way in any universe he's back here next year. And you mentioned Bryson Stott. You might have to throw a player like a Bryson Stott into a trade in order to move Castellanos because you're going to have to sweeten up that deal somehow. Maybe a Bohm, because he's another one that needs to get the hell out of town because he's just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it here. And he's a good baseball player. But as you said, maybe it's the environment. Maybe he needs to go to, Kansas City, or he needs to go to some place like that to kind of just concentrate on baseball because he doesn't have big market mentality. And we're a big market. We need players who can play here and take. Hell, Bryce Harper and his mamby-pamby, I feel upset because the owner's saying I didn't have an elite season. You didn't have an elite season. Kudos to Dave Dombrowski for calling him out on that. Paying you $330 million, man. You're damn right we're going to call you out. Your season was far from elite. Look at Aaron Judge's numbers. Those are elite numbers, not yours, Bryce Harper. So get your ass. Come on, shut up, man.
Yeah, I liked it too. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Did this guy really just come out and say his feelings are hurt, bro?
Yeah.
You cash a check. You have a check for 13 years, $330, buddy. You'll never have to work a real job in your lifetime. Like, I would love to live off the interest of one of those millions, like, let alone 330 of them. Jesus God, man. You hurt my feelings. Like, oh, man. I laughed so hard about that. I was like, I'm going to double down on it. I would have been like, yeah, he got hurt. He didn't have a good year. We were paying him, $330 million. He needs to come in and produce. That's why we brought him here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so it's safe to say that Rob Thompson's on the hot seat starting this year. Like, this is definitely get it done or get out.
Rob Thompson's on the hot seat during the press conference, the end of season press conference, when they said they were creating the MLB field coordinator position and they were moving their current bench coach into that position and hiring another bench coach who has to have Major League Baseball managerial experience.
Did they hire that person yet?
Not yet, but they're getting ready to bring in the Rob Thompson to Joe Girardi this season. So they're getting ready to hire the guy that's going to possibly be taking over for Rob Thompson if they get off to a bad start. Absolutely on the hot seat, man. I mean,
Don Mattingly, maybe.
I would love it. Absolutely. Now that the World Series is over,
Nope.
you can start negotiating that. I would love Don Mattingly to come here. And it's interesting because they haven't hired him. Maybe it is somebody from the Blue Jays or Dodgers because they have not made the hire yet. So
right. I mean, that's kind of, that's what made me think right away because there was an article about why Don Mattingly hasn't gotten another opportunity at managing, and I'm going, yeah, I heard about that position, and I was like, yeah, they didn't hire nobody yet. Like, usually you're going to start getting your staff in. I'm like, yeah, they want somebody off of one of these squads to do that.
So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, no, to answer your question, extremely on a hot seat. I mean, I'm not on board bringing them back, but and again, for context, Rob Thompson wasn't the reason why this team got eliminated from the playoffs. No, he's not. I thought Thompson did okay.
No, the top of our lineup was the reason why we got eliminated from this playoff.
But batting Alec Bohm fourth, we can never have that happen again. Alec Bohm in no world is a cleanup hitter. I don't care what analytics tells you if that's how they were judging. Alec Bohm can't bat fourth. Alec Bohm can't bat in this lineup at all anymore. But we can maybe nitpick that. You can nitpick all the not carrying enough position players or bench pieces to help them out, especially when Bader got hurt. I mean, you can nitpick stuff like that. But the bottom line, this roster underperformed yet again. And that's the bottom line. You don't have to really look far to see that. You just go back to 24, 23, and you see a trend here. And it's not Rob Thompson's fault. These hitters are what they are. These players are what they are. It's been an unstructured, unbalanced lineup since it started, and it's just not going to work. I don't care how much we want it to work. It's not. You got to move some of these guys along. You got to bring in contact. You got to get young. You got to, and you still have a chance. They do. They still got a chance to win, and they will be back in it next year. But again, looking at the Dodgers and Blue Jays trading death blows back and forth, the Phillies couldn't have done that. And they need to get to that. They need to be able to do that in order to win a World Series.
Yeah, and like I said, the way that lineup was being 1 for or 2 for whatever, 2 for a man, you couldn't do that. Now, a lot of people like to come on and with our friendly banter back and forth, Maddie, with you and your show calling us the homers, which at times, yes, I can be.
You're a homer all the time, man.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm a homer, you're the opposite of a homer. You're
Mike, how can you sit here and tell me that I'm the opposite of a homer? What, a realist? I mean, yeah, okay, I'll accept that.
No. But I mean, you have some takes that are kind of out there as well. That's what I'm saying. Like you still think,
yeah, absolutely. But to look at me in the eye, and you said it to me, that this team, and again, talking about the Phillies, was a different team. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's the same. It was the same team with the same result. And how many more times are we going to shove our hand in the door and slam the door on our hand before we realize it just ain't work? It's going to hurt and ain't working.
And you were right. I admitted it. Okay. Like I came on, I said, Matty. I said, see, this is how much Matty doesn't pay no mind to me. I swear, guys, he does. It's only when he's on with me. But yeah, I did. I gave you your flowers from that one. I said, yeah, Matty was right on this one. I said, this lineup just doesn't produce. Like, again, that top of the lineup, to me, that's what cost us this series. The bottom of the lineup actually did okay.
Yeah.
That's what blew my mind with them. And I know you're saying the way that they went back and forth with each other with Toronto and the Dodgers, but during that Phillies-Dodgers, the Phillies were right there. They just didn't hit. They didn't hit. I mean, if the Phillies hit, it might have been a different series. I'm saying
you're right.
Might have been. I'm not saying it would have been.
No, they should have won if they would have hit just a little bit, they probably would have won the series. I'll give you that. And
no, I don't know if they would have beaten.
I think they would have. What a way to go out the way they went out. That obviously has a bad taste in your mouth with Kirk Ring just not realizing all he had to do was throw the ball to first base. Yeah, but I firmly believe if they would have hit just a little bit, they would have won that series. But again, based on how the playoffs shaped out, especially when you're looking at the Blue Jays, they never would have beat the Blue Jays. They would have gotten smoked by the Blue Jays. And we were asking the Phillies to try to like make plays and back and forth. It just wasn't happening. And this team never showed that ability consistently all season. From times and times they did. But then they would go on these little droughts and they scored 13 runs in one game. All was right in the world. Then they would score 9 runs over the course of the next 6 games. And it just balanced itself out like that. And that's the model of inconsistency. And you can't have that.
Now, my question, another one going forward with you here. If this Phillies team, do you think they're going to be actively aggressive in free agency and making trades, or do you think they're just going to kind of do a couple pieces and there we did that?
Well, it all depends on the big domino first. What's the Kyle Schwarber plan? And then everything will be based off of that, whatever they decide to do. They got to go out and, again, based on my model, I'm turning a lot of stuff over to the rookies. I don't know if you actually go forth and you do that. I don't know if Dombrowski would have that much courage to do that. Alec Boehm, what are our free agent holes on this team? Well, obviously you got to look at right field. You got to look at potentially left field. And if you're really, third base, first base, I don't know. It really all depends on what Kyle Schwarber does. And again, the free agent class, if you look around, it's a lot of aging guys, a lot of older guys looking to get that last payday. I don't think we're in that situation. I don't think we're a team that's like that. Pitching, as I mentioned, we got to go out and get some help for the bullpen, Kelly Jansen, and then another starter in order to sort of help out if Painter is not ready to start the season with the big team, or if Taijuan Walker is forced somehow to get into that rotation. We got to get him out of the rotation by bringing in somebody else to replace him. And then, Wheeler at the end of May is when he's going to be ready. So you're going to start the season without Wheeler. So you got to make some moves in order to weather that storm. But major splashes, with the exception of maybe if Schwarber, again, the major splash will come either from a Schwarber signing or going outside and signing one guy like a P. Alonso. Other than that, it's going to be a lot of what we saw last year. I hope it's not Joe Ross, Max Kepler, Jordan Romano bad. We need more than that. We got to get better than those 3. All 3 of them were terrible moves by Dombrowski. Garbage moves, desperation moves. Even though Hoffman almost imploded last night on the mound for the Blue Jays, saw that. I'm watching Sir Anthony and Hoffman pitch last night. I was like, what is this, man?
2023? 2023.
Yeah, I'm like, good Lord, man.
Dude, I said that. I said, now Toronto fans understand how we feel. And they had literally the World Series. We only had the NLCS in our grasp in 2023. They had the World Series in their grasp going home up 3-2, and then they blew it at home. Holy cow, man.
Well, we know how that feels too. So,
but no. Yeah, we did it too.
As far as I don't know. It really depends on what they do with Schwarber, because they're going to have to make one big signing if they don't sign. If it's the internal move, it'll be the big move will be an internal move like a Schwarber or Suarez or maybe even Jay. We're not even talking about catcher. I mean, they're backed against the wall with him. They got to sign him because they have nothing else in the system. Or we're bringing in James McCann.
I was seeing a report. I'm trying to remember the kid's name from Baltimore.
Adley Rausch.
Yeah.
Okay, so great pick. That would be an amazing pickup. He's under team control for 4 more years with the Orioles. He's on his initial contract. The Orioles are going to want the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs in return for this kid. Then if they can pull it off, great. But goodbye, Justin Crawford. Goodbye, Aiden Miller. Goodbye, potentially Raconis. They're all heading to Baltimore if you're going to make a move like that, because this kid's under team control. He's under his first 7-year deal. I would love that trade. We had a guy like that, but we sent him to Anaheim for fucking Brandon Marsh. So you know what? We had him already here. His name was Logan O'Hoppe, if you don't remember. So I just cursed up my own network, man.
Swear jar, man. Swear jar.
But no, Dombrowski backed us into a corner a little bit with the catcher position. JT's going to have to get a 2 or 3 year deal. He's going to no other choice. So yeah, they got to be either internally or externally players in free agency. They have no choice.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I went down the wrong pipe there. He said Wheeler probably won't be ready by Memorial Day, maybe even a few weeks sooner.
So Nebraska said he should be, and he actually put a date on it. He said May 28th is when we expect Zach Wheeler to be standing on a Major League Baseball mound getting ready to pitch.
Oh, man. Oh, there you go. Oh, Adam says, there you go. Adam Cease got the answer to this one.
Yeah, man.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
If you could redo that trade, do you do it right now with hindsight?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would.
With hindsight, you don't trade for Brandon Marsh right now.
No. Even though Marsh, kind of did some things, but no, a catcher is a foundational piece, man.
Yes, he is.
And when you have a good foundational piece, you don't trade him away.
Now, Logan he's not tearing it up in Anaheim, but he's a young player, and he's on the front end of his career. And as you mentioned, he's a foundational guy. You can build with him, and you're not subject to JT Realmuto's, terroristic threats. And now that the Phillies are, so it was a terrible move.
It was. I mean, if you take a look, though, I think the Phillies have had some decent catchers over the years. I mean, Dalton was, I go back. My earliest remembers as catchers was Boone. I was like 4 or 5 when Boone was here. I remember Bo Diaz. I remember Ozzie Virgil. I loved Ozzie Virgil.
Santiago.
Dude, he was at the end of his career playing for a paycheck. I'll never forget. He must have been in the league, like 15 years when he signed with the Phillies.
Yeah.
And that dude, I watched him this last year with the Phillies. He gunned somebody out. I think it might have been
from his knees, right? Or
from
the
his
sitting
knees.
Position that he used to catch from?
No, it was his knees. He was on his knees and just like kind of whipped it and threw dude out. I was like, oh. But
John Russell, Mike Lieberthal.
John Russell. Didn't he marry a ball girl?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Mike
Lieberthal, Darren Dalton, Carlos Ruiz, Cameron Rupp. We can go down the list, and it hasn't been the Hall of Fame resume of catchers. No Johnny Benches, Yogi Bears. Obviously, I think I actually did a segment on this. My number 1 top overall catcher. I'm a Lieberthal guy. I really believe if Mike Lieberthal would have played for a better team, he really was a good player and just got kind of overwashed by just being on some bad Phillies teams.
I think same thing with Roland. I mean, Roland didn't really start getting recognized until after he got to St. Louis. Like his years are like, and I don't like that too. Those Phillies teams were bad in like the mid to late 90s. They were. Yeah. I mean, God, I remember going to a Phillies game. I think it was game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals that year for Flyers and Red Wings, and like you could tell, like everybody was over at the Wells Fargo or whatever it's called, Xfinity place now.
The arena.
They were over at the arena, and every time a goal would go off, a loud siren would go off in the vet, and everybody went nuts. And we had what's his name? Super Rex was on our team that year. Rex Hudler, remember that dude?
Yeah, I love Rex Hudler, but we got him too late in his career. Got Danny Tartaball at the wrong part of his career. Lance Parrish the wrong part of his career. The list goes on and on and on, man.
Oh, here you go. Now, this was one of my favorite Phillies as a kid, Chris James. I liked him a lot, man. I never knew we had Mike LaValliere. I always
we did. Yeah, we had him. Yeah.
Really?
Rick Shue, number 15, was what? He was the heir apparent to Mike Schmidt, correct?
Schmidt,
he got third base, and then Chris James was in the outfield, number 12. Kind of looked like your dad's drunken business.
That's Glenn Wilson. Glenn Wilson, dude. Chris James was kind of
That's right. Glenn Wilson was 12, right?
Yeah. Chris James was 19. He was chunky.
So Glenn Wilson had the mustache and the glasses, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chris James, John Russell with the catcher. Jeff Stone. Jeff Stone was probably the worst. Dominic Brown level of over evaluating Phillies players.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was horrible.
He was terrible.
Terrible. And he was with the Phillies like 3 different times.
Yeah, they really didn't want to give up on him, man. They really didn't.
I mean, like they would trade him away,
bring him back.
He would come back. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who was on the team more, him or Steve Jeltz. Yeah. Steve Jeltz came back like 3 times too. Maddie, we're gonna wrap this up today. But before we do, I'm gonna give you my NFL picks for today. I got those New England Patriots -5.5. Hold on, let me bring the schedule up here so I can put it up. Ready? I took New England -5.5 over those Atlanta Falcons. I think the Falcons stink and they don't ever play up. They're not good outside the dome, and they got waxed in the dome last week by a bad Miami team. I took Denver getting 1.5 at Houston to play the Texans. It's a battle of a 6-2 Bronco team to a 3-4 Texans team, and the 6-2 team's getting 1.5. I'm jumping all over that. In Pittsburgh, I'm taking the battle of the Colts and the Steelers, 7-1 against 4-3. I'm going to lay the 3, and Colts are a 3-point favorite. I will take the Colts minus the 3. In Detroit, you have a 5-2 Lions hosting a 3-4 Vikings team. JJ McCarthy is back this week. I'm going to take Detroit minus 8.5, and probably one of the games of the day. I think for myself, I'm taking Seattle tonight minus 3.5 over those Washington Commanders as they get set for Sunday Night Football. But I think the best game of the day, Maddie, 4:25 p.m. on CBS. Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's going to be the game of the day.
Yeah, Kansas City's been sort of stuck in neutral. Buffalo's doing what they're doing. Good. Listen, I honestly, I just looked at this week, and I don't know why I didn't see it before. What the hell's going on in the AFC North? With one team is in first place, one game above 5. Everyone else is like 4 games under 500.
Well, I mean, you have
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
It's got to be the worst division in football.
Yeah, Cincinnati. Burrow's out. They actually traded to the Browns and got Flacco in there.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know everybody was doing so bad out there. Good God.
Yeah, they were bad. Baltimore's all banged up. They just got their 3rd win of the year, and Pittsburgh's kind of falling back to the pack. Really, if you look at it, Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh's division, and they've had some tough couple games over the last 3 weeks. They got blown out, last week at home to the Packers, and now they got to go. They're at home again today against Indianapolis, which is probably one of the better teams in the AFC. Not too many people are kind of, they're not taking them seriously, but
Steve says the team no one's thinking about is the Seahawks. What? Jim Zorn, Kurt Warner, and Brian Bosworth? That's Seattle Seahawks? Are we going that
Brian
far?
Brian Bosworth. Oh, yeah, he's the sheriff now in the Dr. Pepper commercials.
Yep.
Man, let me. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that division's been weird. The NFC West has been weird. The Rams the Rams are probably the best team in that division, but I like this Seattle team. I think they got a good defense, man. They got a really, really good defense. That defense travels. They can
Sam Darnold, really?
Yeah. But listen, he's throwing to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's got 2 really good running backs in Walker and Charbonneau.
I know, but it's Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold did show up in the playoffs last year for the Vikings. He did come back. Remember? I mean, he did show up and showed his true colors in the playoffs. So I don't know. When you're hitching your wagon on a Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz type situation, you can never be too sure about yourself.
All right, Matty. So last question for you. What's the meal of the day for one Matthew B?
Oh, man. I don't know. I didn't really give it that much thought. We got to go grocery shopping here a little bit. I'm feeling like, I don't know. Today is kind of November 2nd. Today screams crock pot, but it might be too late to do a crock pot thing. No, I'm not going grocery shopping with you. I said you're going grocery shopping. No, I said you're going grocery shopping. No, I am not going grocery shopping with you. No, I'm not.
I do this.
Oh, please leave me alone. Leave me alone. All right. No, I'm not. Please, I gotta finish this. Be gone. I don't know. We'll make up that decision.
I gotta go through the same thing with my wife. She's like, "We gotta go grocery shopping." I know you gotta go grocery.
No, it's not a 2-man job. Yes, it's a 1-man job.
Exactly.
Please, babe.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
Babe, please.
Mrs. B has spoken. Anyway, you know what though, Manny? I think that sounds like just about right. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet either. I was thinking about maybe doing some chili or something. Like you said, crock pot in it today. But yeah, definitely going to do that. Maddie, you're on tonight, 9:00.
Yeah, we're moving to our new winter hours. Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. will be the final word with Maddie B. Going to come down on the dial a little bit, see what life is like on the other side of the night hour, and probably we'll stay there to around April when we get ready to go for the baseball season. So we're gonna give that a shot. But looking forward to getting back into some talk. We'll obviously bring up the World Series. We'll talk some NFL. Talk some Eagles, trade stuff, Flyers, all those great things. So
Well,
Absolutely.
guys, listen, there you have it from the man, the myth, the legend. So guess what? The Mike and Maddie B weekend continues. As
Yeah.
Maddie will be joining you at 9:00, I will have you on the Clear the Ice tonight, guys. So that is your programming for today on It's a Wrap. So you will see both of our handsome faces again later on, guys. So
Don't forget, jump over to check out the Steel City Sunday that's happening
yes,
right now. So
yes,
yeah.
Steel City Sunday is happening right now. Make sure you go give Will and John and the rest of the guys a follow. If you're a Steelers fan, get over there. They do pre and post. So if you want to get over there and talk about that, Colts Steelers game, be my guest, guys. Well, for one, Matty B, I am Mike Lauro, and I will see you guys on Clear the Ice. Matty, we're
Take
out.
care.